Listen, great to be here. Hi. Oh boy. Hi. I didn't know maybe there's a language barrier. Hi translates pretty well. Hello. Listen, we're here, as Alfonso said, because this part of the world is a great place for us to launch new ideas, new products, new innovation. I'd add to that, the weather's not so bad either. Coming from the, well, I tell you, this is some of my funniest material, so I hope you guys got to get some energy in this crowd. Listen, here's what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes or so, is talk to you a little bit about the trends we're seeing in the industry. I'll tell you what Alfonso talked a little bit about it. I'm going to tell you a little bit of our strategy, and then talk about sort of next steps you can expect from Oracle as we introduce various topics that Alfonso described. Okay? And because this is set up this way, I'll probably, thank you for taking a picture, that's great. I'll probably just walk around a little bit and talk with you as we go, as opposed to standing on the stage and talking at you. So first, let's start. First chart. This is sort of what we're seeing go on in terms of these trends driving the cloud. And I'm going to give you some numbers here, because I think they're sort of staggering. Right now there are 9 billion devices hooked to the internet. 9 billion. Many of those are, you see, it's amazing. I look in this room and everybody's got these computers. I'm old, and so I remember when computers were huge. You know, this thing in my pocket is the power of a mainframe when I joined the industry. And now with the 9 billion that are out there, 2 billion of these devices are smartphones. Big computers now in the palms of consumers' hands, doing virtually whatever they want. 7 billion other types of devices, cellular phones, PCs, notebooks, desktops, all connected to the internet. As you see with this trend, that number is going to go skyrocket up to 50 billion devices. This is going to be caused by this trend you hear called big data, and the fact that now it's going to be economic to hook all kinds of devices to the internet. Appliances, oil rigs, sensor and temperature controls, all now going to create massive amounts of data. They're now going to be economically connected and interconnected in the world. It's going to cause it, you're going to hear this term big data. We'll talk a little bit about that today. But one of the things that's driving this massive thing in the cloud. Second, the amount of data on the planet. The amount of data on the planet grew by a factor of 5 over the course of the last 7 or 8 years. It's now going to grow between 2012 and 2020 by 20x. Meaning that in the next 2 years alone, the data on the planet will double. So if you think there's a lot of data now, it's about to overwhelm you. By the way, a big percent of this data is going to be worthless. Some of it will be valuable. One of the biggest jobs we're all going to have in tech, us as a group, is figuring out how to get at those little nuggets of wisdom in this massive amount of data. Mobility, 6 billion mobile subscribers. Everybody's got, the planet's got 7 billion people and 6 billion mobile subscribers. Everybody's got one. In fact, in some countries you see many people with 2. And that mobility now has allowed people to be anywhere in the world, like I am today, talking to whatever it wants, to wherever I want in the world, to ask any question I want about any subject I want through this massive computer. Mobility, combined with globality, combined with a massive amount of data, now creates an IT challenge that none of us were prepared for. Social. You're going to hear us talk about social. I've got good news about social. It allows all of us to communicate in ways we never could before. If you're in a company, I have bad news about social. People can now communicate in a way they never could before. It used to be, if you did business with me, and I didn't like your service, I complained to you. And I said, I don't like your service. And I hoped you would improve your service. Maybe you'd give me something free for my inconvenience. Now that's changed. When you give me bad service, I immediately tell everybody I know. And I tweet it. Or I put it on Facebook. Or for your sake, you gotta hope I don't make a YouTube video about it. The relationship used to be between you and me. Now it's between you, the company, and everybody I know. And by the way, everybody I know in real time. Massive amount of data, incredible power in people's hands. Everybody with this power mobily, across the globe, with now the ability to communicate to everybody they know in real time about whatever they want. And all of us in IT, sitting with 20-year-old average applications, that when these applications were built, nobody ever imagining this thing I just described. Next chart. This is sort of data we hear from people in the industry, and I find this interesting. 65% of companies say social media is a significant or critical risk to their brand reputation. Let me inverse that number. 35% of the people don't get it. 35% of the people don't get it. This is going to change our life as companies. Let's say you had 1 million customers. I love numbers. Let's say you had 1 million customers. Let's say your satisfaction from your customers was 99%. Better yet, 99.9. Sound like a good number? What's 99.9% of 1 million? How many unsatisfied customers do you have? 1,000? What happens when the 1,000 customers communicate socially? They're dissatisfied with their service. And yet your satisfaction is 99.9%. How many times do you go in a meeting and say, 99.9% of our customers are thrilled? Everybody goes, wow, that's great. How come everybody's yelling at us? Why won't anybody buy anything? It's because the world has changed. And now every time you make a mistake, everybody knows about it. And the technology has enabled this. So we're all going to have to be on our toes better than we've ever been before. And we're going to have to be able in real time to understand these issues that come up and actions we can take in near real time to make sure that outcome doesn't permanently damage our business. 65%, by the way, let me go one more time, 65% think this is a big deal. If you could find the other 35, when you're looking to buy stocks, don't buy their stock. 90% thinks the big data initiative will be in place by the end of 2013. I think that's interesting. I think that tells you a lot about the messaging of big data. I won't pick on the 10% that don't, but 90% did. 90% of companies will support their applications on personal mobile devices, like starting with us. All of our apps, you're going to hear us talk about mobile, really in the context of all of our apps now being iPhone, iPad, mobile ready. And 80% of business leaders believe cloud will give them more agility and yet more innovation. We'll talk about that. Next chart. I tell you a lot more of these trends. You'll hear a lot of them during the day. I feel like I shorted you a little bit on this because the data is just fascinating of what's happened in the IT industry. And if you all don't know it, you're living through a renaissance that I don't know will happen again. 20-year-old, and remember one thing I didn't bring up and I just have to, that the other problem on the end of this is the buyer. Because I grew up getting, basically crummy service from the companies I did business with. I didn't get real-time data. When I grew up, thought about real-time data. I went to pick up somebody in an airport, and I drove to the airport. I didn't know what gate they were coming in at. My kids, not so much. They expect to know everything in a millisecond. And if they don't, they're upset. So for all of us in business, I'll give you a stat you can use as your own. 43% of Americans can retire in the next 10 years. They're going to be replaced by a new generation of workers. Those workers don't expect crummy service. Those customers expect immediate gratification. So this backdrop goes against an incredibly demanding consumer with incredibly high expectations that now wants to communicate everything they know, everybody they know, in near real time, and we sit here with 20-year-old apps. Our strategy, fourfold. Oracle's known historically to be best of breed at everything it does. That doesn't mean matter whether it's storage, a server, operating systems, databases, middleware applications. That Oracle won't change. If you want to use our products part by part, piece by piece, you can. We'll fit them into heterogeneous environments and make them work for you. We have about, 72, 73 products in the company that we measure. We're number one in over 60 of them. Individually, and that's a big deal to us. And you want us to be good at that. You want our individual components to be best of breed. Because we're now taking those best of breed components and vertically integrating them. Trying to give you a different experience. More performance, better support, more integration. We do the work. We do more of the activity. Test, benchmark, warrant, pre-integrate. We build these vertically integrated systems. We can deliver service levels that have never seen before in the industry. With our platinum services, we can give 5-minute response times. Sort of mind-boggling stuff. 5-minute response. I mean, most times I can't give my name and address like this morning in 5 minutes, let alone get a service request satisfied. These are new renaissances that occur when you vertically integrate. Remember, we're vertically integrating the leading database, the leading middleware, a leading OS, leading applications, with a 1 + 1 = 3, a 1 + 1 + 1 = 7. Those type of effects, incredible performance gains. Best of breed, vertically integrated. Third, moving our applications. You're going to hear all about this today, moving to cloud. I'm going to talk to you about that in more detail. But all of our applications, not just one, but all of our applications now being built to be cloud ready. We have a very different cloud strategy than most. I'm going to talk to you about that, but let me make sure I give you the fourth one, which is up here, which is driving everything through industries. You're going to hear from customers today that are in the airline industry, that are in the communications industry, that are in the retail industry. These are industries that we focus specific IP on. 4 strategies. Best of breed, vertically integrated, new generation of applications in the cloud, drive that all through industries. By the way, they build on each other. Our vertically integrated systems are built on best of breed technologies. Our cloud is built on our vertically engineered systems. Our cloud, when we go to the next chart, our cloud is different. Steve's going to talk to you, Steve Miranda, is going to talk to you about our next generation of apps. What we will tell you is, our apps can be used on premise, they can be used in a private cloud, or they're available in the Oracle cloud. I tell you this because this is complicated. Most companies that offer you cloud applications will tell you, you should buy this SaaS. Most of the reason is because that's all they've got. We're giving you a choice. First, we're bringing out an entire suite of applications. Everything we make from an apps perspective, available in the cloud. Not one process like sales automation. And I think this is going to become a big deal to you. Most people talk about the cloud as if you could buy 400 separate applications for 400 separate suppliers and not worry about how they work together. For all of us that run companies, that's not how it works. You have to do things like close the books. You have to do things like share information. So a suite of applications becomes a meaningful differentiation for us in the cloud. Functional leadership by application becomes a meaningful differentiation for us in the cloud. Modularity becomes meaningful differentiation for us in the cloud, meaning that you can buy a module and not have to rip and replace your entire application infrastructure to move to Oracle Cloud application. You could buy succession planning in HR and use it in existence or coexistence with your PeopleSoft application. These are huge pieces of differentiation, modularity, a full suite, the ability to mix and match as you go. And by the way, if you feel that there's some issue with going to the public cloud, you have the opportunity with us to install this as a private cloud. For those that have concerns as it relates to security, manageability, whatever that concern may be. We're here to give you ultimate flexibility, ultimate choice as we take our next generation to the cloud. By the way, we'll do it for you as capital, meaning you can pay us and we deliver capabilities, or you can do it as OpEx. Again, your choice. I think I've hit most of the points I wanted to describe. Complete, integrated, highest level of manageability, serviceability in the world. If there's any message I leave with you this morning, Oracle, if you don't know the statistics, will spend about $5 billion this year in R&D. We spent about 4.5 last year, about 4.2, 4.3 the year before. $14 billion worth of R&D over 3 years invested into this strategy. We have $34 billion worth of cash on our balance sheet, and we're buying companies into this strategy. And think of those acquisitions we've made over the last 3 years, over 30 companies, as incremental R&D being invested into the strategy. And we are committed to this. We are the first company to show up in the industry with a full suite of applications available to you in the cloud, available to you modularly, available to you at your choice of delivery architecture, where you have the ability to mix and match, decide capital versus OpEx, and take advantage of what we believe individually is the most modern set of applications in the world. Remember, some of our competitors who talked to you about the cloud started writing applications in the 90s. This is the most modern set of technology available in the industry today.